Sarajevo, June 28, 1914. A car takes the wrong turn, and the world stops breathing. A young man steps out of a crowd, a pistol in his hand. A single decision. 2 shots ring out, and Archduke slumps forward. His wife falls beside him. No one in that street understands what they just witnessed. The end of an age. Within 6 weeks, 5 empires would be marching toward each other in the dark. Within 4 years, 17 million people would be dead. Could one bullet really break the world? Or was the world already broken? Who actually wanted this war? And why, once it started, could nobody stop it? This is not just a story of armies and trenches. It is a story of pride. It is a story of empires so tangled in alliances they lost control of their own fate. It is the story of generals who believed the war would be over by Christmas. And it is the story of millions of ordinary men who paid for that mistake. By the end, 4 empires would collapse completely, erased from the map forever. This is the war that nobody wanted and nobody knew how to end. If you love hidden history, forgotten empires, and the untold truth behind the headlines, subscribe His2D now. Chapter 1. The Spark. Europe in 1914 looked peaceful. Beneath the surface, it was a powder keg of ambition. 6 great powers, overlapping alliances, secret treaties binding nations to wars they never chose. Austro-Hungary, a crumbling empire of a dozen nationalities, desperate to prove its strength. Serbia, a small nation burning with nationalist pride, dreaming of a greater homeland. Gavrilo Princip was 19 years old, a student, a revolutionary, a believer in a cause. He and his fellow conspirators had already failed once that day. A bomb missed its target. By chance alone, the Archduke's car took a wrong turn, straight into Princip's path. History does not always turn on grand design. Sometimes it turns on pure accident. Austro-Hungary saw its opportunity, not for justice, for domination over Serbia at last. They issued an ultimatum so harsh they expected, even hoped, Serbia would refuse. Serbia accepted almost every demand. It was not enough. War was already decided. Behind Austro-Hungary stood Germany, promising unconditional support, a blank check for catastrophe. Behind Serbia stood Russia, sworn by treaty and pride to defend their Slavic brothers. One by one, the dominoes of alliance began to fall across the continent. Nobody wanted to be the first to back down. Every empire feared looking weak. Chapter 2. The Chain Reaction. July 28, 1914. Austro-Hungary declares war on Serbia. The first domino falls. Russia begins mobilizing its army to defend Serbia. Millions of men called to arms. Germany sees Russian mobilization as an act of war and demands it stop immediately. Russia does not stop. Germany declares war on Russia on August 1, 1914. France, bound to Russia by alliance, begins its own mobilization within hours. Germany fears fighting a war on 2 fronts, against Russia in the east, France in the west. So Germany strikes first, executing a plan drawn up years before this crisis even began. The Schlieffen Plan, a bold gamble to crush France quickly before Russia could fully mobilize. But that plan required marching straight through neutral Belgium, a nation Britain had sworn to protect. German troops crossed the Belgian border on August 4, 1914. The final domino falls. Britain declares war on Germany that same day. The whole of Europe is now at war. In every capital, crowds cheered in the streets, flags waved, bands played triumphant music. Young men lined up by the thousands, terrified of missing the glory before it ended. Kaiser Wilhelm himself told his soldiers they would be home before the leaves fell. Nobody in those cheering crowds understood what modern war had truly become. Chapter 3: The War Nobody Could Stop. The Schlieffen Plan collapsed within weeks. France did not fall. The war did not end. Instead, both sides dug in and kept digging for 4 brutal, grinding years. The Western Front became a scar of trenches stretching from the sea to Switzerland. Machine guns turned brave charges into slaughter. Barbed wire turned advances into graveyards. At the Somme, 60,000 British soldiers fell on a single catastrophic first day. At Verdun, French and German soldiers bled for 10 months over a few miles of mud. Poison gas drifted across no man's land, turning warfare into something almost unrecognizably cruel. Letters home grew shorter. Hope grew thinner. Christmas came and went, and the war remained. Leaders on every side privately admitted the truth. Nobody knew how to stop it now. To retreat felt like admitting millions had died for nothing. So the killing continued. Empires that entered the war seeking glory were now simply trying to survive it. In 1917, exhausted and starving, Russia collapsed into revolution and withdrew from the war entirely. That same year, the United States entered the fight, tipping the exhausted balance at last. By November 1918, Germany itself was crumbling from within. Starvation, mutiny, and despair. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, the guns finally fell silent. 4 empires, Austro-Hungarian, Russian, German, and Ottoman, had been utterly erased from the map. 17 million people were dead. 20 million more were wounded, many for life. One bullet in Sarajevo did not cause this war alone. It only lit the fuse. The real cause was a continent so bound by pride and treaties it could not stop itself. Every leader believed someone else would blink first. Nobody did, until millions were dead. And in trying to end all wars, this war planted the seeds of an even greater one. So we have to ask ourselves, could it have been stopped? At what moment exactly? Was it Sarajevo? Was it the ultimatum? Or was war coming no matter what happened that day? If this story moved you, like this video and subscribe for more hidden history uncovered. The war nobody wanted became the war that changed the world forever.